Creation. To hear a story from God's holy book, I close my mouth, just listen and look. Last week we learned all about God's big story. Where do we find God's big story? In the Bible. The Bible is made up of lots and lots of little stories. But together, all these little stories make up one very big story, God's story, the story God wants to share with all of you. God's big story, the Bible, has a beginning, a middle, and an end. We had some symbols to represent the beginning, the middle, and the end. Do you remember what they were? Creation, Jesus' birth and life, Jesus' death and resurrection, heaven, where we will be with God forever. God's big story, the whole Bible, tells the good news of God loving and saving us through his Son, Jesus. So which story in the Bible do you think we should tell today? There are so many to choose from. What story should we start with? Let's begin at the beginning and work our way to the end. No, wait, I have a better idea. Let's start before the beginning. Who was there before everything began? God was there before the beginning. God is eternal, he always was, and he always will be. God was there before the beginning of everything, because he made everything. Okay, now we can begin at the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. God spoke, and all things were made. He said, "Let there be light." And the light was separated from the darkness. He called the light day, and the dark night. He made the sky, he made the sea, and he made the land. And then God filled his creation. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars. He filled the sky with birds. He filled the sea with all sorts of creatures. And God filled the land with plants and all kinds of animals. And God said, "It is good." God made the whole beautiful world, and it was good. And then God said the most amazing thing. He said, "Let us make mankind in our image." And so God created mankind in the image of God. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them and said, "It is very good." And then on the seventh day, God ceased from all his work, and he looked back at all he had made. He said, "Yes, it is very good." And on that day, God delighted in everything he had made. Now, since God created people, he knows what is best for them. So God took Adam and Eve, the man and the woman he had created, and he put them in a garden, a beautiful garden where everything was good and filled with life and light and joy. God blessed them in this wonderful place. He gave them all sorts of good things, plants and trees and animals and food to eat. Everything in the garden was given to Adam and Eve to care for, and every day they delighted in all the good things God created. And best of all, God was with them in the garden. God loved Adam and Eve. He loved to talk to them and loved to walk with them in the garden. Everything was good. Everything was the way God wanted it to be. God was the Lord, the King of all his creation. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. His love endures forever. And so this is the story of how it all started. God's big story begins with God, who is good, making all things good.